Kempire is brought to you by
Atlanta. I am coming to your city literally a week from today. And if you're listening to the replay this week, I'm coming there in the days coming. August 5th, we will be at the City Winery in Atlanta for the second time. I know it's a Tuesday, but what you guys got going on? Nothing. Come out for a night of tea being spilled. I already have like 3 things that I need to write down and make sure I spill at this Atlanta show. We're going to dig into Real Housewives of Atlanta, the Shamia of it all, the Portia of it all, the Phaedra of it all. We got to talk about Married to Medicine too, because they're currently filming and Dr. Heavenly's running for office. What? So we will be spilling all kinds of tea at these live shows. If you think it's anything like YouTube, then you've never been to one of these Kempire After Dark live experiences. Go get your tickets. We're coming to DC on August 22nd, New York City on September 12th. Meet and greets are available for all the shows. And don't forget the New York City show has a special live stream option, so anyone in the country or anyone around the world can be a part of the Kempire After Dark, the Villain Era live experience. Get your tickets today.
You're listening to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network.
Podcast fam, this is a special episode where I have to talk about some of the hot topics that I haven't been able to get to in or on other platforms. I want to talk about Deion Sanders and bladder cancer. I also want to talk about the whole Karrueche Tran situation that apparently some of you knew about and I didn't know about. I want to unpack that. I also want to talk about Kandi and her addressing Shamia's downfall this season and whether or not Shamia should return and how she should return. I also want to talk about Kenya Moore and what's going on over there at the hair spa. Apparently, the landlord suing her for unpaid rent, and now she's countersuing them for breach of contract because she invested hundreds of thousands of dollars into this hair spa. And now what? Don't know what's going to happen with that. We'll unpack some of that. But before we even get into that, I want to talk about this Karrueche Tran and Deion Sanders of it all story. So yesterday I did like short form video. Again, if you're not following me on all platforms, you really will miss out because I do certain content that is just going to be on certain short form platforms or just here on the podcast. Like this episode is just going to be a podcast. There will be no video version of this particular podcast episode. So shout out to our podcast listeners. Shout out to our Spotify listeners, because I love on Spotify that you can actually comment, so I can kind of engage with you guys on Spotify. But shout out to our Apple Podcast folks. You know how Apple is. Eventually, we'll probably have commenting over there at some particular point because, you know, they are always working on it. It just takes them a little bit longer. All right. And it's funny because I don't remember where I mentioned this because I create content everywhere. And I mentioned something about the Zoom option that is now available on iPhones. And of course, I already got ahead of myself, but someone still said it in the comment section in regards to like, oh, we've had the Zoom. We have 8 times Zoom. Well, guess what I just heard? For the iPhone 17, we're going to get, iPhone 17 Pro, we're going to get 8 times Zoom. And I'm sure by then Samsung will have 20 times Zoom or 100 times Zoom. It's okay, guys. I don't care. I still miss my BlackBerry and the efficiency of their email. Email for me, this is why my email is so backed up now, because I just I don't feel like email on iPhone is efficient at all. If anything, if Apple, if you're listening, what you could do is master what BlackBerry did or work with them and master email. I'm telling you, it would take the iPhone to a whole other level. They focus so much on, I know what people use every day, but so many of us use our iPhones. That's why so many of us, especially when it comes to email, we miss that about BlackBerry. That's why now you probably see on TikTok this trend of people ordering old BlackBerries. I still can't find my BlackBerry. I literally can see it. I've had so many BlackBerries, but this particular BlackBerry I saw recently when I was moving. I don't know. I might have thrown it out, guys, thinking like I'm never going to use this. But then I still have my Applewood. I don't know. Maybe I will find it. I do need to look through some of my tech here. Maybe it's in there. But I have a feeling I threw it out thinking I'm never going to use this again, ever. All right, I've digressed. Let's talk about Karrueche Tran and Deion Sanders. So Deion Sanders broke the news that he was diagnosed with bladder cancer. He went through the surgery, had his bladder removed. And for those that were wondering what happens, I believe in this particular clip that I have, what they maneuvered in the surgery, because he removed his bladder because he found a tumor on his bladder. They removed his bladder, and I guess the way that the surgery, what they did, not just remove it, but they also set it up where now one of his intestines will replace his bladder. I've never heard of that before. I actually have a collaboration that I have been trying to make happen, but I've been so busy with the tour and summer and everything like that, where I bring a doctor on and talk about some of these things. So stay tuned. I love educating myself, but also us as an audience. So let me just play this clip from the video that Deion Sanders, who basically went viral yesterday when it comes to a possible relationship with Karrueche Tran. A lot of you even know that he broke up with Tracy Edmonds, or they broke up. They made an announcement maybe like a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. I don't know. I don't know what time, me and time. But it wasn't too long ago, and they were together for a very long time. And a lot of people did not realize that they broke up. But a lot of us did not know that Karrueche Tran and Deion Sanders may be an item. Again, this video doesn't confirm that, but I don't know what it confirms. There's also speculation that she is his goddaughter. I don't think that. I think that's also a rumor. I do believe that there is some sort of intimate relationship. Again, I don't know for a fact.
So yeah, we are here to fully remove the bladder.
That was Karrueche Tran speaking, because again, you're listening to a podcast version. Maybe some of you don't even know what she sounds like. I do, because I remember watching her. What was it, Claws? That show? I don't know what she's been doing lately. I think she's still doing acting and things like that. And for those that don't know who Karrueche Tran is, because I don't want to even assume that you guys even know who Karrueche, because there are people of a particular age that listen to this podcast and watch the channel and don't know who Karrueche Tran is. And I don't blame you. She is the ex-girlfriend. She's also a fellow Taurus. The ex-girlfriend of Chris Brown. That's how we really know her.
Texting the boys. It's their first day of practice today, and I'm excited. This is kind of the first day that
dealing with okay. We are dealing with bladder cancer. And he is having his bladder removed, and they will create a new bladder with one of his intestines. And this option was, I guess, the best because it fully removes the cancer to ensure that it doesn't come back, because it was close to his muscle. So yeah, we are here to fully remove the bladder.
Okay. So again, you could see that on their social, Deion Sanders. But when they saw this video, when we all saw this video, we were like, Karrueche Tran and Deion Sanders? Are they a couple? So apparently everybody not everybody, there were a handful of people that were in the comment section saying that, oh yeah, there was a rumor about this, a few months ago. I'm like, really? Well, apparently that rumor never really gained any traction, and we never really saw them together. But I had to clap back. I'm still in my villain era, but after this tour is over, the villain era will be over, okay? Now I understand why I normally don't clap back at people, all right? But a lot of people like myself were like, when did this happen? We were all caught off guard. We were happy to know that Deion Sanders is fully recovered from after the surgery. They said that there is no cancer. So I think that's the most important detail to talk about. There's no cancer in his body right now. and after the removal of the bladder. So, but it was the Karrueche Tran of it all. And I just read a comment on my YouTube page in which I talked about this. And some people say, well, Deion Sanders is a master at manipulating the media. So now he's spun the narrative from the cancer to now this. And I was like, well, okay, that's a nice conspiracy theory to think about, but maybe not. I don't know. But for them to include her in this video and put this out there, maybe. Either way, and I did talk about in regards to the age difference between them, and a lot of people are like, well, she's in her 30s. It's not the same as a Shannon Sharpe. I just wanted to point it out because there is clearly an age difference. He's 57, she's 37 or something like that. Now she's 37. I mean, I think also when people look at her, she doesn't look 37. She looks quite younger. Some people also pointed out he seems to have a type. Well, yeah. Some of y'all have types and y'all love to call them preferences and things like that. I'm not going to get into any of that. If they're happy, I'm happy for him. He has a lot to celebrate. And when it comes to being cancer free, I just literally saw before preparing for this podcast, Deandra Simmons, from Real Housewives of Dallas. Apparently she just went in surgery for breast cancer, so we are wishing her well. I also saw another story about Teddy Mellencamp saying that she has a 50-50 chance dealing with the cancers that she's dealing with. So prayers for anyone that's dealing with a health issue. This is a reminder to anyone listening to this. Be grateful if you have your health. Be very grateful, because no matter money, fame, or whatever it is that you have, if you don't have your health, none of that is even worth it. You know what I mean? So I'm happy for Deion Sanders that his health is back in order and he has love in his life. Good for him. I can't believe that I forgot to do a video or do a podcast talking about Ray J. I did do a short form video talking about Ray J and some of the things that he had to say about his sister Brandy and his cousin. But Ray J sat down for a new interview and talked about Whitney Houston. As you may recall, people have always said that Ray J was Whitney Houston's alleged drug runner. They've also alleged that they had an intimate relationship. There've also been speculation that he was the one that unalived Whitney Houston. I never ran with that narrative. The whole he may have provided Whitney with drugs. I could have believed that more so, and I did believe that there was some sort of intimate relationship. He's confirming that in this new interview with my birthday twin. Take a listen.
I love Whitney. I was with Whitney every fucking day. She was one of the most important people to me. Niggas is saying that I was in the room when she died. Bro, that's the biggest cap I've ever heard. I've heard it since the beginning. But when you know the truth, why do you have to jump out there and try to tell it to everybody? So I didn't care about what people were saying at first.
But I think it's important that you use this platform, because one of the things that I was going to hit on is, number one, you mentioned murder, right?
If you look on all my comments,
yes,
every time I go live, anything, you kill Whitney.
Okay.
That happens in spam.
Now speak your truth on that.
Here's the truth. It's not my truth. It's just certain times when narratives are going to the moon, that's not true. Everybody has you have to go and you have to shut certain things down.
Right.
The way they made that scene is so haunting to me. Here's why. I wasn't even there. I was nowhere around.
Where were you?
I was in San Diego doing a show.
Okay.
The Clive Davis event was the next day. We were gonna go there together. And we were gonna fucking really make the announcement that, like, you know what I'm saying?
And I'm kind of glad that never happened. Oh, God. Whitney was never the best when it comes to choosing men, because especially what Ray J turned into, oh, my goodness.
We was fucking around. And that we were locked in.
So y'all had a real relationship.
1,000%, bro.
The real emotions.
Bro.
Which leads me to wonder, what was the note that Whitney Houston, the night before she passed away, that she gave to Brandy? Everyone has asked Brandy about that note. Brandy refuses to even talk about what was in that note. And it seems as if maybe the relationship between Whitney and Ray J may have complicated the relationship between Whitney and Brandy. Because, yes, they worked together. She loved Whitney, but they ended up becoming really friends and family. So I'm sure this probably was difficult for Brandy to see her brother having an intimate relationship with someone that was her friend and mentor and just someone she looked up to. It also makes me wonder if the idol that you, because some people say never meet your idols. It makes me wonder if when, she always looked up to Whitney and then she finally got to know Whitney, if that changed how she saw Whitney in some ways.
Those my people, bro.
And bro, this funky Friday, ladies and gentlemen, where we keep it 100.
I barely speak on Whitney. She's Whitney Houston.
Yes.
That's Whitney Houston, but she's Whitney to me, right? And to me, it's just so distasteful for somebody to tell somebody something.
I'm so distracted watching Cam Newton sitting in those shorts and those high socks. I can't. He's also a Taurus. We literally have the same exact birthday.
Whoa. That the other person can't respond to.
Right.
To me, it's unfair. So I've always just never said nothing. But now that this shit's going everywhere, like, bro, it's just fucking hurtful, bro. Like, when I got back to the hotel, they did not let me up at first. Until everything was cleared and it was just the family, that's when I was able to go upstairs and see the family. This is you talking like late at night. When I pull up, I got my shoes. I'm ready to go to the event. I just talked to her on the phone. She's not there no more. It's over. And Ray, who is her bodyguard, he found her and he called me. CNN says Ray J found her. And then 10 minutes later, oh no, Ray, her bodyguard. That shit's 10 minutes later, bro. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And
but
so
there's a innocence with jumping to conclusion, and you can kind of see why. Obviously, there's similarities in names, but that was not you.
I was nowhere to be found.
Right.
And he was never charged. We have to keep that in mind. You can't just be unaliving people, then all of a sudden there's no investigation into that possible. And I get it. We have our conspiracy theories. If the Diddy trial taught us anything, some of those conspiracy theories, for the most part, were not true.
And I hate talking about it because I got so much love for her. I've never seen her in that state.
Yeah.
They never. So to make me that person when I wasn't even there, and then to put murderer on top of that, but I just solely just got away with it.
Mm-hmm. But I think something that
I implore you guys, if you haven't seen the interview, when he looks at Cam Newton and says, "Oh, and I got away with it," there's almost like there's a smile on his face. So there's something going on with Ray J. I don't know if it's drugs. He does say in this interview that's when he first started experimenting with hard drugs, was after Whitney's death.
You shared something that you shared with me that I think is important, right? Especially with this, to give perspective. Did you guys do drugs?
I've never done one drug with Whitney. And then when niggas ask me, did Whitney do drugs? I mean, you don't gotta, there's certain things you can ask me and I'll tell you about me. But you don't gotta ask the other question because you already fucking know, it's Whitney. Everybody knows certain answers. I could tell you about me. I was so fucked up after that shit happened. I tried hard drugs for the first time after this shit happened because I was just I didn't know what was going on, bro. I was totally in awe of it.
Did you ever witness her doing drugs?
Whitney?
Yes.
I don't want to talk about that because then it's I can never put it like this. I'm way younger, bro.
Mm-hmm.
She's in control, bro. I love Whitney. I was with Whitney.
I'm going to have to listen to that full interview. I don't know if I can, especially when it comes to Ray J. And I think Ray J, he's a lot more sinister than we give him credit. And I'm not saying that he did anything to Whitney. I think there's a lot more darkness there, especially when you see how he was defending Diddy. And it makes me wonder, what position does he play in the Holly weird of it all? And I do believe maybe because of whatever he's gotten into drug-wise or business-wise, that's what's caused a rift between him and Brandy, they've been ride or die for each other their entire lives until recently. And I don't know if we will ever get to the bottom of that. I know Brandy and Monica have been doing some promo, but no one's really asked her about that. This is when you need like a Wendy Williams on daytime, because you know Wendy's going to ask. And they know. And that's the thing. Whatever celebrities are going to be on there, they know Wendy Williams is going to ask. And honestly, I would ask too, if I'm going to be honest with you. I would ask, so what, you and Ray J, it's all about how you would ask. I think Wendy would be more, what's the word? More, I wouldn't say straightforward, because I think I'm straightforward as well. I think I would just have a little bit more empathy in how I would ask it. Okay. Did you guys also see that interview that Tyson Beckford, I know he's on King's Court. I'm not watching. I know some of you have asked me. I'm not watching. I'm not really interested in the dating shows, to be honest with you. But it was, it's very rare that we hear Tyson Beckford, who's a fellow Jamaican like me, talk. And he talked about Wendy Williams and what she's going through being her karma, because she was the one to spread the rumors about him being gay. But then some of you were in the comment section saying, well, some of the things you said on King's Court kind of makes us think like, this is what people have said, okay? But then he also told a story about where he almost, not pulled up, he literally did pull up on Diddy and their beef from over the years. I have to say that was a pretty interesting interview, because we never really hear Tyson Beckford talk. Tyson looks really good right now. I mean, for a 50-something-year-old man that's been modeling, and honestly, he's probably the most famous male model of all time. If we're going to be honest, black or white. I know there are popular male, I can't even think of one. Tyson Beckford has been a famous male model our entire lives. And that's not necessarily a good thing that he's like the only one that we really know of, because it's just a reminder that in the world of male modeling, there really isn't a lot of popularity. There isn't a lot of money to be made. But he is it. And he still looks really, really, really good. And he still models. I don't know why he's doing this reality TV stuff. I don't know. That's the thing, too. Maybe if I watched the show, I would see all the other things that he's maybe gotten invested in. But he's also Jamaican. And one thing about us is that we will work. And I don't know. I don't know if what else he might be involved in or invested in. That's the key thing. For all these influencers and content creators, I was just talking about this on TikTok last night. Take that money, invest it in something. And not just real estate. There's so many things that you can invest in that don't require you buying property, stocks and things like that. Especially if you're not trying to be crazy aggressive with your stocks, you can make a lot of money. I'm actually thinking about, because I already have different investment accounts, but I'm already thinking about like, I want to set up another one kind of thing. So like in 20 years, I'm going to have a certain amount in there. You know what I mean? And I think we all should do that. And I think one of the key things that you don't necessarily have to go to college to do, especially now with access that we have, is financial literacy. We all, even myself, still could do better when it comes to financial literacy. How did I end up in a conversation about financial literacy? We were talking about Tyson Beckford being a model. I know how we got there. Elephant brain is working. Apologies for those that have their headsets on right now. Oh, Lord. Let's get into some Real Housewives of Atlanta tea. So it looks like former Real Housewives of Atlanta star Kenya Moore is being sued for unpaid rent for her hair spa. But it looks like Kenya may have hinted that this was coming a few weeks ago. So it was just yesterday that we recapped the Real Housewives of Atlanta's final part of their season 16. But over the weekend, we reported to you a special YouTube live that Kenya did, confirming that you should not expect to see her on season 17 as of right now. She also hinted that possibly a restaurateur and a former Love and Hip Hop star would be joining the cast. According to the Neighborhood Talk, they are reporting that would include Pinky Cole from Slutty Vegan and former Love and Hip Hop star and country singer, K. Michelle. Neither one has confirmed that they will be joining the new season of Real Housewives of Atlanta for season 17 that is set to start filming next month in Atlanta. But it was just a few weeks ago that Kenya Moore went on her YouTube channel to address bloggers that she alleges that have been stalking her salon, have been prank calling the salon, have been putting up fake reviews on social media regarding her salon. But she dropped some information within talking about the salon that I said, everyone pay attention to that. Are we going to see a future lawsuit for unpaid rent? Well, now that is what the blogs are reporting, but also this lawsuit that is out there is reporting. Take a look at what Kenya said just a few weeks ago on her YouTube channel.
Now, I was going to mind my black business, but you know that's not going to last long. So let's get into it. Starting with what's been twirling through the headlines. Okay, T, listen, I know we got a script to follow.
Oh, Lord.
I know. But something happened today that just really pissed me off. Actually, it didn't piss me off. It's just like, you kind of ask yourself, well, how famous am I? Because you just really never know how famous you are until stupid stuff like this happens all the time. People have been stalking the salon, okay? Kenya Moore Hair Spa is open. We do customers every single week. However, there have been some crazies that are reporting, oh, it looks abandoned. No one's coming in. We're not doing business. I just have one question. Why do you care? Is it your money? I spent the $300,000 to open this place, not you. So these trolls decide to try to ruin my...
It should also be noted when she talked about this on the show, she said that she spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, which included Brooklyn's college fund.
Business, leave 1-star reviews on Google. They've never set foot in the Kenya Moore Hair Salon, and it's really getting weird. If this business closes, I have other means of income. I have other businesses, and I have money. So what do you have? Time. That's what you have. A lot of time. I don't have the time. So I'm busy working, okay? I'm booked and busy. Whether you see people coming in here or not, it's still a place of business that I pay for. So if it's not your money and you're not paying my rent, why do you care? I understand.
The fact that she says, you're not paying my rent, made me think to myself, are you paying your rent? Well, keep listening.
And the stalking nature of some of these predatory bloggers, not all bloggers, because sometimes it's just reporting what's happening. I get clicks, that makes the money. So I get that. I'm a business to them. And this is my business. And I will continue to do charity work and pay people's bills. The food you're eating now, I paid for it. The rent you pay because you don't own a house probably. It's just nonsense, okay? Literally, I saw a video of someone calling my salon, pranking my salon, and for what? Because I'm paying your bills? Because my money that I have, that I earn, because I'm self-made from the time I was 17 years old, I never had to get on my knees or on my back to make $1.
I know that's right.
Okay, I'm talented, I'm educated, I'm smart, and I'm driven, and I'm favored. So no matter what happens to this salon, I told you guys when I did the first confessionals, I had a dispute with the landlord.
Pay attention to this particular part, because this part is where I remember watching this a few weeks ago and I was like, wait, don't be surprised if we see a lawsuit in regards to unpaid rent.
The landlord has not given me back my TIA, that's tenant improvement allowance. I was allotted $79,000 to improve this place.
You built a whole floor.
I built an entire second floor. I have not gotten a penny back from that. So if I'm not paying rent and they're not paying me TIA, we're at an impasse, so something has got to give. So whether that means I'm going to be in here next year, next month, next week, we'll see. So keep trying, because I'm just going to climb, regardless if I'm here or not.
So it sounds like this new lawsuit filed by the landlord of her hair salon, it sounds like they're at an impasse, as she said, in regards to she feels that she's owed money from them for investing and renovating this space, and she's not paying her rent. So that's where it seems as if there's this battle. Shout out to our friends over on X. The girls are fighting because they actually had a screenshot of the lawsuit filed against Kenya Moore, more specifically against Kenya Moore's business, because it says Moore Vision Media Incorporated and all other occupants. This lawsuit, there's actually a civil action file number for this as well. They report this. They said RHOA alum Kenya Moore hair spa eviction. Landlord alleges 6 months of unpaid rent. Sidebar, as you also know, I mentioned this over the weekend when we went live talking about some Real Housewives of Atlanta tea. I mentioned to you that Mark Daly is now in Atlanta as well. Kenya on her YouTube channel addressed if they were back together. She says, don't be silly. They're not back together. They're co-parenting. But you may recall we did a video several weeks ago talking about the unpaid rent that Mark owes to some locations here in New York City. So I wasn't surprised that he decided to hightail it to Atlanta, where the cost of living is probably way less than here in New York, while he figures out how he's going to pay back nearly $500,000 that he's being accused of owing. But in regards to this lawsuit, they said, according to the court filing, the landlord alleges that Moore Vision Media Incorporated failed to pay rent for several months, specifically from December 2024 through April 2025, totaling $21,897.40. This averages about $4,379.48 per month, which is not a lot for rent when you think for a business, especially a business of this size. But again, this is Atlanta. This is why I say the cost of living, it's far better than a lot of places like New York City, where I live. Probably hence why it's only about $22,000 that she owes. So they said the landlord, through their attorney, Brian S. Goldberg, states the following. They said the tenant is behind on rent. They said the lease term has expired. The tenant has refused to leave despite demand. Literally, when Kenya was alive, she was at the Kenya Moore Hair Care Spa. So they said the tenant has refused to leave despite demand. A warrant may be issued for removal of the tenant and other occupants. The landlord is also requesting additional costs and fees related to operating expenses, storage, charges, and legal fees. So as I said to you before, I was not surprised by this because she literally alluded to this in that YouTube video. And I was like, okay, so there's a conflict in regards to Kenya believes that she's owed money from the landlord for improving the space, and that's why she decided to stop paying rent. Hence why she also said, I might be here this month, next year, not sure. It will be interesting to see where this goes. I did pay attention that this space is under her corporation, which a lot of times helps protect your personal assets and things like that. So I'm not worried about Kenya's personal assets or this harming her or Brooklyn. But regardless, the fact that there's no news of her returning to Bravo. And yes, we know she has other means of income, but based on what I've come to understand, that Bravo check was a pretty big check for her. And this is what we notice when a lot of housewives are no longer a part of the franchise, is that we start to see these stories of issues and lawsuits and things like that. I'm going to keep you updated to see where this lawsuit goes, but it's just another story of a housewife being sued in regards to unpaid rent. Oh, but wait, we literally have breaking news in this recording of this video because Kenya Moore is clapping back at the landlord, suing them in a countersuit. According to our friends at the Neighborhood Talk, they report this. It says, not Kenya twirling into court. Neighbors, former Real Housewives of Atlanta star Kenya Moore is in the middle of a real estate showdown, and it's all going down at the location of her hair salon in Chamblee, Georgia. They said, according to court docs, the property's landlord, Northland Chamblee LLC, which owns the deco at 5211, filed a dispossessory, aka eviction, case against Kenya's company, Moore Vision Media, back in April of 2025, but Kenya didn't just sit back and let it slide. In June, she hit them with a countersuit demanding over $89,000 in damages, claiming breach of contract and legal fees because the dollar amount is way over the magistrate court can handle. Both parties just agreed to move the whole situation to Superior Court. It's been a lot of chatter surrounding Kenya and the salon that many have called, quote, empty. So that is the update in regards to what's been happening. So this has been playing out since April. As I said to you before, Kenya said several weeks ago that this was coming. We already kind of saw the foreshadowing. it will be interesting to see where exactly this lawsuit goes. So it looks like former Real Housewives of Atlanta star Kandi Burruss Tucker is weighing in on Shamia's downfall and whether or not she will return, and the advice that she would give to Shamia if she does return for season 17. So let's get into more Real Housewives of Atlanta news. So Kandi Burruss, and I just have to say this as a disclaimer, and this is not, because I know y'all will be like, oh, you're a Kandi stan. No, I'm not. But I do see people dragging Kandi, like, why are you talking about the show? Why are you talking? You guys are probably just seeing clips and you're not watching her Amazon Live that she does, I believe, on a weekly basis. A lot of times she's answering questions that are in the chat during her Amazon Live. And people are always asking her, for someone that was on the show for how many years? 14 years? 15 years? She was on the show. So they're always going to ask her questions about the show. It's not her all of a sudden going on her YouTube and making RHOA content. So in all fairness, before people start getting in the comments, why is Kandi always talking about the show? Because people are always asking her about the show. It's not like Kandi didn't leave the show and go on to do some really amazing things so far. But also, she's also had her own lawsuits. We've talked about it all. That's why when I find it so hilarious when people say you're a Kandi stan. I was like, no, we talk about everything, no matter who it is, including people's lawsuits when it becomes news. But anyway, enough of a disclaimer. It's Mercury retrograde, right, Nikki? Anytime I talk about a Mercury retrograde, I'm always going to reference Nicki Minaj. And you know why, if you've seen the videos that we did talking about that between her and SZA. But anyway. So Kandi is weighing in. So you remember there was a rumor that Shamia was not going to return for season 17. People speculated that she had taken RHOA out of her bio, only for us to find out she never had it in her bio. I don't necessarily believe that anyway. When people say, oh, she took it out of the bio. Sometimes some of these housewives, Dorit, will do that intentionally to get people talking in order for the fans to press Bravo, like, no, this person can't leave. Dorito, we really didn't care. We honestly don't know why you're returning for another season, but fine. I don't get why Bravo does what it does. I do remember hearing, what was that, on the latest episode of the Humble Brag podcast with Cynthia Bailey and Crystal Kung-Minkoff. You're welcome for the plug. And Cynthia said she confirmed what I've been telling you guys. Bravo, when they decide on casting, it's not just what the fans say. It's not just what Bravo executives want. There's a whole situation that happens. They even done focus groups trying to figure out, is this person gravitating towards the audience? They do this with a lot of jobs, a lot of entertainment jobs, focus groups to see, is this person connecting with audiences, even in a negative way. So when we have our villains, if it brings attention to a show where people love to hate watch someone, or they love the dynamic that they bring within a group, all of that is considered. Social media, us talking about Shamia actually helps Shamia come back next season. And a lot of you have said, I think a lot of housewives, their first season usually is a big womp, womp, womp. Okay. I feel in this particular situation, it's a little bit different because a lot of people want to use when Drew came on, people didn't like Drew. There's so many examples of a Housewives first season where maybe they weren't the best. I get that. But with Shamia, it's a little different, and I'll explain in a little bit. And I've explained this before during our Real Housewives of Atlanta recap yesterday as well. I've talked about why I feel like Shamia should just pack it up. And I don't mean that in a negative way. And I've said this before, just because you're not good on reality television doesn't mean that you're not a good person, that you're not not having the personality for reality television might actually be a compliment for the most part. Okay. You're normal. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you've been to BravoCon or if you interacted with some of these housewives, you're like, oh, I see why they casted you. Okay. But Kandi was asked about this, and Kandi says from what she knows, she had literally just saw Shamia, I think the day before, yesterday, saw her, and she was getting ready for her family trip this summer. And she went to check on Shamia, because I'm sure Shamia, yes, we have a job to do and talk about what people do on reality television. And we haven't had the most favorable things to say about Shamia. However, I can understand how hard it is to put yourself out there and to take the amount of L's that she took during the reunion. Part of me feels sorry for her. But part of me is sort of like, well, you also created this. Between the alliances, between the continuing to drag people instead of just letting things go. And then she did that video on her YouTube channel. And I was just like, why are we singing the first 5 minutes? Okay. And then making excuses still. And then at the end of the video, after the prayer, you're saying sorry?
Okay, well, guys, with that being said, my elders and my family, they never steer me wrong. So I just want to start by saying to all of the ladies on Sweet 16 cast, starting with Portia, Drew, Angela, Britt, Kenya, Cynthia, Kelly, I'm sorry. And if I missed anybody, I'm sorry. Phaedra even coming in at the end, I'm sorry. If I've ever offended you, if I've made you feel less than, inferior, if I insulted you, hurt you in any way, I'm sorry. And I hope that we can start fresh. And I wish you nothing but the best. And that prayer, I hope it leaves this room and enters into your heart and your household. And that's a wrap on Sweet 16.
I'm like, are you really sorry, or are you just doing damage control? Well, according to Candy, based on what she knows so far, Shamea is planning to return for season 17, and it looks like maybe she is being offered. From what I heard from Cynthia has not been offered a contract yet, but they're set to start filming next month. Even Cynthia alluded to that as well, that the rumors that they're going to start filming next month probably will be true, but she hasn't been offered her contract yet. And some of you are saying you're okay with that. I don't feel like Cynthia did terrible as a friend of. But I will also say at the beginning of the season, I said to you, it feels as if Cynthia is like the auntie of the group. It also felt uncomfortable during certain scenes when she was interacting with them, that it was just like, it didn't feel great. Throughout the season, it got better in regards to her integration into the group. And maybe next season, with some of the changes with a Pinky Cole or with a K Michelle, it will also feel a little bit different. I don't know. It would only take some time to see. I could imagine them bringing Cynthia back. I know a lot of you don't feel like she brought a lot. There are definitely a lot of people that felt like, no, Cynthia did bring a lot in regards to being sort of the actual glue versus you guys saying that Shamea was the glue. She was the glue. I could see Bravo bringing her back because Cynthia is someone they can work with. I don't know if Marlo is someone that they feel like they can work with or they can control or they, you know what I mean? Anyway, Candy says that based on what her conversations with Shamea is intending to return for season 17. I'm not shocked by that. Is anyone shocked by that? Because we've said this before, because even Candy says in this video that Shamea has a beautiful life. She doesn't need to return. Shamea wants to return. If anything that we've learned from this season with Shamea, yes, Shamea has this big, beautiful life, and she has the money, she has the family, she has all of these beautiful things. But Shamea always wanted fame. And I mean fame. There's one thing if you want success in one particular career. No, I think Shamea wants fame. And remember, on the after show, Angela Oakley was the one. And at first I was like, Angela, really? You think this? She says that she believes that Shamea played the long game when it comes to her friendship with Portia.
Oh, Portia Bone here. I think Shamea is playing the long game. I'm sorry.
What does that mean?
Well, I think that Shamea wanted to be on this platform, and her friend was on this platform. And so Shamea was willing to put up with what Portia was offering or issuing out on the friend side to get what she wanted. I don't take Shamea to be one you can walk over.
No.
I don't take her to be one who can be manipulated. I take her to be very calculated. Her friend got on this platform, and Portia invited her on this platform with her. And then she coveted it.
Keep in connection with this friend because she's connected to the network. And then eventually I will have my moment and be featured on the show. And I'll say this again. You saw that Gerald, her husband, did not film. I'm okay with him not filming. I understand it's not his thing, her words. However, I believe he could have been in the same capacity years ago, but the production and the network and the people that handle casting just felt like Shamea wasn't it for the show. And now we see why. Because Shamea has been married to this man and living this lifestyle for a very long time. Kandi has said, even before this season aired, that she had been recommending Shamea for a long time. So the excuse that the reason why she didn't film was because of Gerald, I don't 100% believe that. I do believe it played a part. I don't 100% believe that. I believe production, the network, they didn't see it for Shamea. But when everything started to fall apart with Portia and her storyline for the season, they became desperate and they made her a full-time peach holder. That's what I believe. But that's just my opinion. I'm not saying that it's fact. Please feel free to share your opinion in the comment section, but don't tussle with people in the comment section. We do not moderate adults. Okay? All right. So let's take a look at what Kandi had to say during her Amazon Live when asked about Shamea and the advice that she would give Shamea during the next season.
And I told Shamea a few things. One, I told her she really don't need that show. If she don't want to go back, she does not have to go back. And, you know, it'll be just fine. You know what I mean? She can live her best life. She has a wonderful marriage and a wonderful family. You know what I mean? But I said if she chooses to go back, then definitely don't hold back on her feelings. I don't really.
And that was the thing that everyone was saying at the reunion. That was the advice that Cynthia Bailey gave her during this reunion. Don't hold back on your feelings when it comes to the issues that arise. And apparently that's something that she has always been doing. And she said, I'm going through a lot. There are reasons why I do that. Do I believe in season 17 that someone that's 40-something years old that's been doing this for years, it's just something that's a part of who they are, is going to change? Well, maybe that'll be her storyline. Now, in this era, in season 17, I'm going to be the most outspoken that I've ever been.
I think that she lied. I feel like, okay, first of all, this is not me picking sides between the two, okay? I feel like there were issues in the friendship prior, and I feel like Shamea should have said something before instead of just acting like everything was okay. You know what I mean? And I feel like sometimes when things aren't okay, it's okay for you to have an attitude about it. It's okay for you to just like, yeah, I'm not feeling this. You know what I mean? And just stand on it. I feel like just trying to be passive about things, it allowed it to come back later like, oh, you weren't tripping all this time, but now you want to trip. No, really, it's been bothering her the whole time, and she should have just said that. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
I will also say this. Just because there's something that you feel towards someone else, like there's some sort of issue, maybe whatever issue she had with Portia not attending her wedding in Africa, sometimes the healing that you need to do for yourself doesn't necessarily have to involve the other person. It's you having to put it to rest and be like, you know what, I let that go. I'm done with it. Or maybe be done with the friendship. But like I said, it's important to remember what Angela Oakley said during the after show. Did she want to play the long game because she had other intentions? That is what I got from the reunion, is that Shamea is not who we thought she was in regards to her having good intentions. And I said that yesterday during our Real Housewives of Atlanta recap when they were setting up for the parade. I said, I feel like the reason why this season turned out the way that it did was because her intentions were not pure.
I feel like the show itself is going to make it hard for the two of them to fix any friendship because, you know, that's the thing. When you're on TV and you real friends with somebody and y'all have a back and forth, typically in real life, you can have your back and forth, and then I don't talk to you, you don't talk to me, and then eventually we might get over it and start back talking. But it's not allowed to happen when you're on television together. When we fall out, then they're going to make us keep bringing it back up. Everybody get to have an opinion about it. It's got to go viral. It's about to be a mess. So that's why I say it can, in my mind, probably get worse going into the next season. So either she just needs to address how she feels and be fully transparent.
Here's the thing, too, and this is what Cynthia Bailey said on the most recent episode, because she talked about the friendship dynamics. And she also reiterated what Candy is saying here, is that being on reality television doesn't necessarily help you get over the friendship stuff if there are issues. But if you truly, your intention is to heal the friendship. And some might say, maybe she doesn't want to heal the friendship with Porsha. I can understand maybe not wanting to continue in this toxic relationship with Porsha, because I'm not saying that Porsha is innocent. What I'm saying is if you really wanted to heal the friendship, if that was more important to you than being on this show, you wouldn't return to the show. And some might say, well, this is Porsha's thing. Why is she trying to invade in on Porsha's thing? I feel like there's room for both of them on the show. I said before, during the season, when recapping the season, I wouldn't have minded them never talking about what happened years ago when it comes to the wedding. I wouldn't have minded just seeing them have a good time during the season. But even when they were having a good time, because I was live on TikTok and I was talking about how Shamea can't just help but be cringy. There are so many examples, and they wanted me to list all the examples. I was like, well, it's hard to list them because I would have to show you what she's done, because it invokes the ick in me sometimes.
Oh, and now boys not send me to get them flowers up in the mud. Look at these things. Okay, I like it. I love it. Oh, and you do it. And you do it. Ooh, and they smell so good. They smell so. Do it. You gotta, and when you get up, Pete, you get some flowers from your best friend. You get up, Pete, you get the flowers, and you then go in. Ooh.
And even when Porsha and Shamea were having a good time, although some of those moments were fun, it would turn into cringe really quickly. Like when they were in Grenada and they were in the Sprinter and they were like joking and then they made up a song and she was like, oh, but the booty. And I was like, oh, here we go with the cringe again. If you watched her latest YouTube video, there were multiple moments from the very top. Oh, cringe. Some people are not made for reality television. That's not a bad thing. That's not a read. That's not shade. Okay, if anything, it might be a compliment. And I feel as if Shamea is not made for reality television. And I know a lot of people are like, well, give her another chance, give her another season. And I'm like, you know what? I'm all about giving people grace for the next season. All right? We did that before for so many other reality TV stars where it's like, didn't love them this season. Maybe I'll love them the next season. And come in the next season with an open heart. But based on what I've seen with Shamea, and we have to also keep in mind, this is not our first time being around Shamea. This is our first time being around Shamea full time. But what I've noticed is that cringe, that ick that I get from some of the things that she does on reality television that I don't think will change. But I could be wrong. I want to put that disclaimer. I could be wrong. And next season, it could be, we love Shamea. But I will say, when all of you were saying she's the glue, where has Shamea been this entire time? I said, hold on, people. Wait a minute. Let's see how the rest of the season plays out. Only for us in episode 20 to be like, I don't want to see Shamea again. And you understand why Porsha, and a lot of people said Porsha had a terrible first season. I don't think she had a terrible first season. Why she reigned supreme, why she did so well on reality television. She just has the good personality for it. Did she have a great season? No, she didn't have a great season, but she's shown us over the years that she can have a great season. I just don't think that Porsha can be a leader when in this dynamic, this group dynamic. She's not a good leader. But she's still, I will have to say, she's made me laugh a lot more times than Shamea did. I didn't get ick from Porsha during the season, only if there were scenes with her and Simon Guobadia. Luckily, we didn't get any of those. But if you watch Portia's Family of Lies, then we got the ick quite a few times. But okay. So what do you guys think? Do you agree with what the advice that Kandi has given Shamea? She also said before the season started in her advice to Shamea that 1 minute they're going to love you, the next minute they're going to hate you. That happened really quickly for Shamea, but Kandi's right. Kandi did it for like 15 years. She understands how people love you 1 minute and they hate you the next. You really can't pay attention to social media. If this is something that you really want to do because you want to launch your music career or whatever it may be, fine, girl. But I do not want to see Drew pursue music next season, Shamea pursuing music next season, and clearly K. Michelle will be pursuing music next season because that's what she does. Okay? And she's been working on this country album for years now. And she just secured a new country album deal. So I already know her part of her storyline. She's also married. For those that didn't know, she just got married. She revealed that on socials maybe like a week ago or a couple weeks ago. I'm sure she will be talking about that aspect of her life. But K. Michelle is very business-minded. We're going to be focused on her businesses, her interaction with the other women, and her music. More importantly, she's going to use this platform for her music. I don't want 3 people pursuing music next season.
Hell no.
I really don't even want 2. I do like Drew's album, but I don't want 3 people pursuing music next season. Production. I know you watch. What do you guys think? What do you want to see for next season? Are you excited for season 17? Are you excited for the Kempire After Dark live experience coming to Atlanta? I'm recrafting my show because when I was in Philly, I talked a lot of different hot topics. However, I really want to delve into breaking down everything when it comes to Real Housewives of Atlanta, the past, the present, and the future. Baddie Twins here on YouTube will be opening up for me, so stay tuned for that. And then, of course, we're coming to DC August 22nd, then New York City September 12th. And I know all of you are like, can you come to my city? I don't know, y'all. I wish I could, but I'm only one person, okay? And it's hot here in New York right now. And I can't think about anything besides trying to stay cool and stay hydrated, all right? And I would suggest the same for Shamea.
Thanks for tuning in to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network. As always, you can hear Kempire on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. More information can be found on KempireRadio.com.